and basically all of your guys's questions. A lot of the questions that I get asked in the chat, in the comments, questions from live chat. We'll also look at those. And also want to wish you guys a happy Easter if you're celebrating. If you're out there, if you got small children, we did a lot of celebrating with the kids this morning, and the Easter bunny came and left eggs and all around in the backyard. It's amazing that there were no eggs that ended up in dog poop, which is good. And then the kids had some Easter baskets, and they were very, very happy about it. All of that good stuff. But yes, I always thought it was interesting. If I was looking up recently a little Easter story. Because it's so close, tomorrow is one of my favorite days. April Fool's Day, April 1st. Those of you who have been with me for a while have known that I love April Fool's Day. I love to do fun and goofy stuff on April Fool's Day. But I was wondering, I wonder if Easter ever fell on April Fool's Day, because there's a lot of jokes that could happen with that. And apparently the next time that's going to happen is going to be 2029, I believe, 2028 or 2029. So in a couple more years, there's going to be some really wild and crazy April Fool's jokes. Be sure to check the channel out tomorrow. Be sure to be aware of the date. That's all I can say. But yeah, we've got some fun stuff. I have a playlist of April Fool's videos on the channel. So there's different playlists, and I was looking through them recently, and there were a lot of really cool, really great memories, stuff I had forgotten that I've done. So yeah, I love to go through those every once in a while, because I used to do them kind of really cheap and simple, and then after a couple of years of like doing simple, kind of easy, low-hanging fruit kind of videos, I started putting a little more effort into them, and it became something I really enjoyed. So, and sometimes they're a big production effort, like the UPCs, the proof of purchases, the Final Fantasy Flight Group, Fantasy Flight Games proof of purchases. That one was a fun. I spent months working on that one. But then some of them are just simple, like the volume. Like, I'm speechless, and there was no volume. So sometimes it's But either way, I'm trying to be more clever than with each year, trying to outdo myself, and I'm not always going to be able to do that. But I'm curious what you guys will think this year. So, BLT Vampire, how's it going? He says, did the Easter Ewok bring plenty of chocolate? And not as much chocolate this year. A lot more gummy snacks, I think, were in the. And there was some chocolate. There were a lot of those minty chocolate, like Andes mints, were pretty prevalent this year. So yeah, I'm curious if you guys had any good bringings of things. I had a recent game of Age of Sigmar, Warhammer Age of Sigmar. I was playing dragons, and was playing these guys, Krondas and Karazai. And there's an army of renown with Ionis Cryptborn, and I don't know if we got any Warhammer players in the channel, but there at the Adepticon they announced 4th edition for Warhammer Age of Sigmar. So I was playing with my buddy Sean, and it was possibly our final Age of Sigmar game for 3rd edition, and that's a fun game. It's one of those games, and I wish more games could kind of do this. I wish the balance was kind of at the same place for these. But what really roped me in with GW and Age of Sigmar specifically is the models are really good. As much as I love Atomic Mass Games models and Kaman models and stuff like that, nobody has really kind of beaten the level that GW can get to with theirs. And so, especially for that fantasy era, I really love Age of Sigmar for that. But I wasn't expecting the gaming to be good. I was just like, all right, well, the models are great, but the gameplay's not going to be that good. And the gameplay ended up actually being pretty good. I'd say it's a little more, like, some of the value is a little bit more on the hobby side and a little less on the gaming side, but it's really close, and I love that balance. Hey, what's going on, Derry? Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Is that a peach or is that a butt? That's awesome. Oh, Andrew Lynch, you did. Yeah, yeah. Okay. It hasn't been 30 days yet, so yeah, I do remember you. So go ahead and email me and we'll get it squared away. It's mailcrabbok@gmail.com. But yeah, go enjoy your Easter. I'll take care of you, man. Don't worry about it. SMN Phoenix says, "Have you watched the new Godzilla film?" I haven't seen any of the new Godzilla films. I've heard very good things. Godzilla -1, I heard was really good. I did not see it. The new one right now, what versus Kong? My oldest son really wants to go see it, so I think he's going to talk me into it. So yeah, so that is. Uh, Clinton says, "Please do not show us your butt." Don't worry, this is not my OnlyFans. Yeah, it's really good. I've heard it was really good. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? Happy Easter. We're talking about questions and answers. There are a lot of recurring questions. So one of the cool things about the vertical orientation, you get to see part of stuff that you normally don't see. So we've got like Master Chief's mask right up there. Or maybe I'll move that down because there's a new. Did you guys see the new Halo Flashpoint game that's coming out from Mantic? So there's a new Halo miniatures game coming out. I'm gonna try to. I don't know what they're gonna be doing with review copies, but Mantic did kind of drop a little note in my video where I was talking about that. So hopefully we'll get something going there. I'd love to be able to get an early access to that game and show you guys the miniatures, some gameplay. And I'm really excited to start painting up some Spartans for that game. So I know it had been asked if I was going to talk about that. Yes, I'm definitely planning on talking about that more as it gets closer. There's pre-orders going all throughout April, and I think if you pre-order in April, they have a thing where you can get a free Master Chief model, because granted you're playing as a team of Spartans and you're not necessarily playing as Master Chief, but apparently he is in the game, so you can include Master Chief in your list. I'm thinking it's something like that. Clinton, good question. I'm going to get to that in a minute. So yes, I think that's a really big thing for this year, is there's going to be a lot of new games that are coming out that are like long overdue and we're really excited for. There's a lot that I'm excited for. One of the new ones is Cyberpunk Gangs of Night City by Come On. I did some cool stuff with that, and I'm going to try and get my review for it done this week. Because I've done other videos. I did an unboxing and I did a how to play, but I want to do a proper review, and I want to include all of the expansion content for Cyberpunk 2077 Gangs of Night City, because I've seen a lot of reviews for the game, and most people are only talking about the base game, and I've been playing it more than I play other board games lately, because again, I'm a big Cyberpunk fan, and I want to try to put a little more emphasis on board games than I used to, and giving good reviews rather than just unboxings. So I've been playing it more, and I've been exploring a lot of the expansion content and modules and different ways to play beyond just that tutorial and that basic gameplay, because I think I can offer something that other people aren't, and that's a more in-depth look at what do you need if you're going to pick this game up, and where does it rank, and trying to separate my bias, because I'm a big Cyberpunk fan, from the actual game review. And so it's going to be a challenging one, but I've also done a lot of stuff to organize it. One of the problems with a lot of Command games is, they have this huge trays of miniatures, and it can really slow down the setup process. It really slows down the setup process, and I've tried to come up with a way to organize it that and it's given me some things that, like, there's going to be some criticisms I have for the game as far as just the number of components that they give you. For example, there's like 10 gangs, and there's almost enough pieces for every gang to have their own bag or box of all their gameplay things. So you just pick a gang, I can just give you a box, and there's all the stuff you need to play. Problem is, there's not quite enough for that. So if I put all the gameplay pieces in a gang's box, because I order these special little boxes for each gang, not all the gangs will have all the gameplay components, all the little action tokens. So if they could have just given us like one more sheet of cardboard, it would have been perfect, but they didn't. And so now I can go ahead and like custom order that stuff, but it's really annoying that they didn't, that they didn't include all of that. So that's part of like one of my criticisms. I wish they'd given you just a little bit more cardboard or a token pack or something like that. So I'm going to go up to, we're going to be talking about more about questions and answers in today, and we'll talk about whatever you guys want to. Sorry if I miss any of your comments. I will try to get to them just as soon as possible. And big thanks again to Derry for the super chat. That's awesome. I really appreciate you. All right. So Clinton says, how excited for Star Trek Into the Unknown are you? I'm super excited for its potential. I'm very excited. I'm really looking forward to it. I'm trying to be cautiously optimistic, but caution is kind of shrinking and the optimism is kind of growing. I do have a preview kit. I cannot make content with it just yet. I have filmed an unboxing, and you'll notice when I finally get the green light to let the unboxing go live, I haven't filmed any other content yet. Because there's just a temporary hold right now. It just feels like a longer temporary, and I know you guys have heard me say that quite a bit. Other people have posted their stuff. That's no problem. But you'll notice like my beard is much shorter in the unboxing because it's been so long. So I think I filmed in like mid-January. So it's by the time it goes live, and I don't know when that will be. I may look different in that video. So it's funny, but I don't want to refilm an unboxing because I wanted to kind of capture the initial reaction. So that's kind of why a part of my method to my madness with that. But I'll say this: you've probably seen other content. If you're interested in Star Trek Into the Unknown, you've probably seen some other content that kind of goes into that demo kit, that preview kit. It whets the appetite. The preview kit on its own isn't a super compelling game. It's a very simple scenario. It's not going to be something that consumes your entire evening. It's not going to be something that has you masterminding against somebody else. It's a simple way to teach you the basic rules. But what it does is it really shows you how the engine works and what the possibilities are for this game. And it's like, wow. So based on this, the gameplay could be anything I want it to be. There's a lot of people saying it's not Armada. Don't think that it's Armada. It's not Armada. And I don't like that because I think I've said this once before and I'll say it again. Saying that it's not Armada is a way to misdirect Armada players because it has this kind of attached thought to it that you like, oh, well then it's not going to satisfy me if I'm an Armada player. And here's how I would append that. It's not only Armada. It can do what Armada does for you, but it can also do other things. Potentially more, or potentially just extra stuff. So, yes, you can have those Armada-style battles. It certainly looks like you're going to be able to do that. But you can also have like more story-based missions or campaign-type stuff or standalone missions like Armada. So imagine if Armada had extra capabilities. That's kind of what I think it's going to become. It won't be the same thing, and I don't know if it's going to replace Armada. I don't know if it's going to become like, one of my top 3 games of all time or something like that. It's too early for me to know that, and I haven't seen everything that's out there, but it has potential. It has the potential to be. Okay. Actor William Rodriguez says, thoughts on using Legion minis for Star Wars RPG 5th edition. Currently doing Collapse of the Republic with your group. So Star Wars RPG 5th edition, I don't know. Well, first off, any RPG, you can use any minis you want. Legion minis are really good for that. They're, I think, only a few millimeters over size for most like 1-inch grids. So yeah, Legion minis work really good, close to perfect. At least for the normal small base trooper minis. If you're trying to use like a big vehicle, like an ATRT or something like that, you'll struggle a little bit because those are noticeably bigger. But yeah, for the most part, yeah, I think you're going to do fine. I think I don't know what Star Wars RPG 5th edition. You mean Dungeons and Dragons 5th edition, just kind of modded to work Star Wars? I mean, sure, do whatever you enjoy. That sounds, if that's what that is, that sounds great. I really like Fantasy Flight's, or I guess Edge Studios is now Star Wars RPG. It's an amazing narrative system. If you're more focused on storytelling than you are on min-maxing and trying to, do that, and you can still min-max, but it's just, it's better for storytelling and interactive, like where you can contribute with the game master. I love that. So that works really good. Clinton says, Cyberpunk looks like a big box game. I'm kind of running out of room for games. So Cyberpunk has a lot of boxes. I condensed it all into 2. I've got this one here. Now I've raised it up about an inch, 1 1/3 inch or so. And I have the Families and Outcasts box, which is the same length and width as this, just not the same height. But it's about this much more. I have that on a different shelf. So it's 2 boxes for me. So it's not as bad, but it is still big. There's no question there. It's big, but it depends if you get all the expansion content or not. But if you do, you can throw a lot of the stuff out and condense it. Realistically, it might even be able to be all condensed into 1 box. But I kept some of the inserts. So yeah, I think if somebody did a really good insert organizer for it, it could work. Some of the organizers, though, I'm not a big fan. Like, I don't need my miniatures for a game like this to be in like a separate holder where they can't touch anything else. Like, they're not. I painted all of them, but I didn't paint them so great that they can't possibly touch anything else. I'm not putting them up for show. I just wanted them to be recognizable as who's who, So I did quick paints on all of them. It still took forever. So I have a lot of them like together in a that they'll roll around and touch each other a little bit. But yeah. Clinton says, I can't wait to see the Galaxy class compared to the preview kits. They had it at Adepticon. There's photos of the actual, or at least the demo version of a Galaxy class. That one's out there. So it looks, from the pictures I've seen, it looks great. El Chavez, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, says, what do you think about Star Wars Unlimited? In Germany, or at least my place, it's hard to find displays. Most are sold out since I don't see many events in my area. It feels like it's dying out already. I'm curious, how that's going to work out. I think it's going to be fine, but it's always a problem getting the balance right on a new game, because let me answer your question first. I love it. I did not want to like it. I was kind of I was kind of turned off by the art initially, and of course it's a collectible card game. I know Fantasy Flight had the whole thing, like this is their 3rd Star Wars card game kind of deal. So I was just like, I didn't think that was going to go over well, and there was a little part of me that was just like, I don't know if I should try it. I probably won't like it. So I tried it at a pre-release event, and I had a good time. I had a really good time, and I thought, wow, am I going to get into this game? And it's always risky with me doing card games, because I covered some Magic the Gathering Commander decks, and they did really, really poorly. I actually lost a lot of subscribers with talking about Magic. So I was like, am I going to lose more talking about Star Wars Unlimited? And I remembered an important tenet to this YouTube channel and to content creation in general. It's not about, the subscribers matter. It's one of the reasons why I do little giveaways and stuff like that. I'm trying to grow the channel, but at the end of the day, if I'm enjoying something, that's more important. So I'm like, I enjoy this game and I want to make content for it. So I'm going to risk making content for it, even if it's not even if it doesn't make money, right? Because I don't make very much money from this channel. I make a little bit. You'd probably be surprised at how much work I put into this, and videos just about every single day. It's astounding to me. I make less than a minimum wage part-time job, so it's it's very, very low. But with all that being said, it's as long as I am doing stuff that I enjoy, then it's never work for me. Although it's still work, but it's not like terrible work. So I enjoy the game. Fantasy Flight has said that initially it exceeded their best expectations. They do have some more stock for it, but they're not dumping it all at once. There's always this risk. You don't want to give retailers too many boxes. You don't want to be like, okay, you have 20 cases and you don't even sell one, and then you've got 19 cases of inventory that you have to figure out what to do with, and then it goes on clearance, for like 90% off, just so it'll sell, and then of course that makes everybody think, oh man, this game is dead. So, I think it's healthy for there to be a little bit of demand, but not too much. Set 2 will probably be announced in like a month or two, I'm guessing. No, Set 2 should probably be formally announced next month. And then I would say then we'll start seeing previews and stuff. And then, because I think the plan right now, from what I've heard, is that unlike Magic the Gathering, which has a whole nother expansion every month, Star Wars Unlimited is, I think, doing 3 a year. So every 4 months. So it'll be like 2 months of previews, then release, and then 2 months of just like playing that and focusing on that new set and all the combinations. And then after 2 months, you'll start seeing too much of previews, and then finally release, and then 2 months of just enjoying it and building decks and doing all of that. So I really enjoy Star Wars Unlimited. I know they're having a couple of supply problems right now. I think it'll get worked out. I would suggest pre-ordering at least one booster box. Get yourself something. I'm hoping future sets don't have quite as much. Like, I don't want to have to buy like 4 or 5 boxes of content to get everything. I actually, because I think I've bought 3 boxes now. We've opened up some on the channel. I got a lot of stuff. I think I'm missing like 2 or 3 cards. I actually just ordered some singles just so I could have at least one of everything and not have to, like, I don't want to like keep chasing a Luke Skywalker and opening box after box and not getting it, and then I end up having way more cards than I need. I'm like, let me just buy singles just to feel that, to soothe that inner completionist with me. And so I think for like 30, 40 bucks, I was just like, okay, good, I've got what I need now. So it's better than buying a whole nother box. All right, I'm gonna try and get to more questions here. Sometimes I take a little long time answering a question. Derek says, do you think we'll see Mace Windu in Legion? Oh boy, that's a question. Yeah, I do think we will. I don't know when. I think we're at a situation where, because Shatterpoint is new, because Shatterpoint is like the new hotness and it's AMG's like own designed game, and Shatterpoint's getting more love than Legion is, but that doesn't mean Legion isn't getting love. Legion is an older game, which will have, the fact of the matter is they're going to have less releases. They're going to have less new content. They're still getting new content though, and that's good. That's a very good thing. The Armada player in me says that's a very good thing. And they're getting their content reprinted. A lot of people think there's going to be a second edition for Star Wars Legion. So all of that stuff is good. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with new editions. Age of Sigmar. I have a lot of Stormcast Eternals. Maybe one day I'll showcase all my Stormcast Eternals in a video. I don't have all of the Stormcast Eternals, but I have a pretty big component of Stormcast. There's a lot that I have. I could probably build like 3 armies out of them. Actually, I absolutely could build 3 armies, possibly a 4th army. I don't know. But I say that because and new additions happen all the time, and it just gives you new ways to use your existing same units. You may not have the exact same strategy you had before, but as long as everything's still usable, if it's just a new rule set, and then new optional stuff if you want to buy it. Like, I don't think you're gonna have to. I don't think your soft plastic Legion models are gonna have to go in the trash. I think you're gonna totally be able. Same way they did it with the Wookiees, right? And I bought extra Wookiee. Oh, Wookiees, freaking! I still haven't used my Wookiees yet. I need to get some Legion going. I haven't had a Legion battle report on the channel in a while. I mean, let me know if you guys want to see more Legion. I want to play more Legion. I think the game is so much fun. I always have a good time when I play Legion. And I just have been trying to focus. I've been trying to spread out so much. I think I've forgotten the core a little bit, and I need to come back to. I need to get some Wookiees on the table. I bought extra Wookiees just to do that. I have more Wookiees than I could even normally use outside of the Battle Force list, but it's okay. I'm feeling good. All right. Let's see. The Salty Sultan says, "Hey, huge fan. Well, thank you. I was wondering if you've ever played any of the Mantic games like Kings of War, Dead Zone, etc. My LGS has a lot of those games. Wanted to hear your opinion." So I have not played those games. I have a. Let me see if I can grab it. I ordered one. Hold on. Let me see. Can I get it? All right, I'm gonna pull out a game by Mantic. You tell me if you recognize this one. This was one of my first ever Kickstarters, and it's called Dungeon Saga. This was a dungeon crawl game. I ended up, and it's just a cool box. It had this book. It's not a book though. This is the game box, right? Oh no, I have it upside down. Everything's falling out. Shoot. It's full of miniatures and stuff and all of these things. And I painted them. I painted this whole thing up. I did quick paints on some of them. But yeah, and I was using these for Dungeons and Dragons. But yeah, there's all kinds of cool little minis in here. You know, lots of minis, lots of like doors and terrain and scenery and weapon racks and all kinds of cool stuff. It was a groovy thing. Now I never actually played the game. I just used the miniatures for D&D. But it's, I mean, the miniatures are good and the gameplay looked good. The problem I came in to realize, it wasn't a problem with the game. It was a problem with me and my gaming groups. There's not too many people that want to commit to a board game campaign. If you're going to do it, the people who want to commit to a campaign usually, well, let's play Dungeons and Dragons then. Let's play a real, or the Star Wars RPG. Those I can usually get people to commit to when I can commit to them. Actually, I need to get another Star Wars RPG going. But yeah, for like a board, like Imperial Assault, I had a hard time doing too. I think I tried running that. I maybe had like 1 or 2 sessions tops before it kind of filtered out. So not really, like those style of games just end up not working for me. I wish they did because there's a lot of value in that, but it just didn't work out. That's why I struggle with some of the Awakened Realms games like what's the Tainted Grail and stuff like that. Like I usually just don't have the time to sit down and play a whole board game campaign. And then I usually don't have the people to do it either. But no, Mantic's, so the miniature quality looks good. I'm aware of Kings of War. And do they do Flames of War also, or is it just Kings of War? But I forget which one of those. But I have friends who've talked about one of those two, and I get confused as to which one. But I know they're very popular. And I've seen a lot of Mantic stuff over the years. So I'm really looking forward to Halo. Clinton, you'll stick with Decipher. Awesome. Yeah, I miss those. Please say hi, Illy. Oh, no, Lily. Hi, Lily. How's it going? Hopefully you are having a wonderful day. All right, let's keep going. Is X-Wing in a good place right now? We're expecting some X-Wing news. I'll be honest with you. I think X-Wing is in probably a good place. I'm going to say probably. I don't play competitively with X-Wing. When I do play X-Wing, it's very casual and it's only once in a while. But one of the things that's very good about X-Wing is they have so much stuff. So much content. One of the problems for X-Wing, though, is that some of that is out of print and is hard to get. Like, if you want to get a gunboat today, you'll have a hard time doing that. But there's a lot of content out there, and I wish Armada had that much content. X-Wing fans were very much used to getting new stuff, new point rebalances all the time. You know, they were used to getting a lot of stuff, and there were a lot of expectations with second edition. Huge ships currently have no legal rule set, so X-Wing has some issues. But as a whole, it's got a whole lot more right with it than is wrong with it. I don't believe AMG is at a point where they're going to like cancel or dump the game. So I feel like that's good. I feel like there's hope for it, but there's a big slowdown. They have been getting new physical product under AMG. We just had the Battle Over Endor pack. Some people have mixed emotions on those. I think they're kind of cool, but I don't think they're good enough to say let's never get physical ships again. I think they're a good band-aid, and they're good in between ship releases. You know, I think that they serve a good purpose for that as a supplementary release. But at the same time, I mean, people really just want new ships, right? Like a lot of people, there's a lot of new media that's been out there that were like, well, can we get one of those new ships from Andor? Can we get the new Bad Batch ship? Can we get the new ships from Ahsoka? Can we get all this new stuff that people are like, can we get this? You know, and I get that. It's wanted, and I think it deserves a place on your tabletop, and so hopefully they'll get to a point where they can do those. I feel like AMG may be coming around to say, let's just do ships on a sprue. That's the way we can do new ships. And I think there will be definitely some initial pushback from players, but I think it's been long enough that I know at least a lot of Armada players, not all, but a lot of them are coming around to, well, if that's what it takes to get new ships, I guess I'll just bite the bullet and have to deal with that. Yeah, because more and more people are buying 3D printed ships and stuff anyway, so and you're gonna have to paint them yourself anyhow. So, you know, and I don't think ships will have quite as many super tiny little pieces. I think if you do ships on a sprue, they'll probably go together fairly easily. I would love to see how AMG would do ships on a sprue, and if that could mean that we get even better ships. I'd love to see a Lucre Hulk from AMG, especially if it's designed on a sprue. That could be amazing. All right. Jared, you need to start having themed game nights, a Doctor Who game night and a Star Trek game night. Yes, themed game nights are very cool. And it's, especially when you have quick games, one of the problems with doing those, at least for Star Wars, is a lot, but not all, but a lot of Star Wars games are very long games. A lot of them are very long games, and one game alone can take up your whole game night. So having quicker games, Outer Rim can be quick or long. It kind of depends on how people are playing. You know, Star Wars deck building game is not too long. It's actually so much more fun than I initially was expecting it to be. I was looking at it thinking like, this is just gonna be Star Realms, and it kind of is, but it's still also really enjoyable. The art has a lot to do with that. The card design is just clean. It plays simple enough, not perfect. Can't wait for an expansion for that, though. I would love for them to put out an expansion to the Star Wars deck building game. It's my favorite new Star Wars game in a long time. Well, no, Star Wars Unlimited wins, yeah. Okay. You play Crisis Protocol? I do. I'm gonna adjust my camera a little bit. I do play Marvel Crisis Protocol. I love it. I would like it a lot. It's a very enjoyable game for me. I usually don't make content on it, though. I usually don't. I don't play it well enough that I feel like even games like X-Wing that I don't play that often, I can still talk about because I played it so much that usually I at least can report on it, and I know enough about what I'm talking about to talk at a certain level. Not at a really high level, not at a hyper meta competitive level, but at least as a journalistic and, you know, as somebody who plays the game. But when it comes to Marvel Crisis Protocol, while I do play it and I have a good time doing it, so much of it I am kind of in the dark. So I always play with somebody who knows more about the game than me. So this way, when I make a mistake, they're like, oh, no, that happens this way. No, this happens now, and then that happens first. And I'm like, okay. You know, I still have a blast when I'm playing it. But because of my level of knowledge of Marvel Crisis Protocol, I don't feel quite as comfortable making content on it. I still could. I mean, I could still talk about like the news and the new stuff that's coming out. But I feel like there's also a lot of other content creators doing that. So, you know, I haven't got to the point. I may do that at some point. But yeah, I mean, and maybe that's something that I'll do is just make content about MCP for the fun factor of it. It's hard trying to figure out what I could make that is actually that you guys would want to hear and want to see. So it's a weird balancing act trying to come up with MCP content. I could see at some point maybe doing a battle report, although I'd probably make a lot of mistakes. So I don't know. All right. Is paying somebody 1.5 the price of boxed product fair for commissioning someone to assemble and paint the miniatures, or is it too much? I'd say it's not enough. but it depends. If somebody is charging you, let's say a $50 ship, right, or a $50 miniature, and somebody's going to assemble and paint that, and the cost is 75. Well, does that include the miniature? Because basically, if that's the case, then they're only charging you 25 bucks. If they're charging you 75 and you've already purchased the miniature, I think that that's a fair price. So if they're charging you 1.5 times plus you have to still provide the miniature, I think that's close to typical market value. It does sometimes depend. Like if it's a really small miniature and just happens to cost $100, then that might be off there. But yeah, I'd say usually between 50 and $100 is usually what I see people charge for a single miniature that's painted well. If they're charging less but doing quicker paint jobs, then that's fine. If they're charging more but you're getting like a studio, like a competition level paint job, then that can be appropriate. But somewhere in there, that sounds about right to me. I haven't looked at it too much though, so I'm not the authority on that. But I know some people who have done commission paint jobs, and that's in the ballpark of what I would expect. All right. So let's see. Oh boy, I don't know what the heck is that? Oh, man. Let's see. You just do you think Armada will come back in a big way? You just started, but you feel it isn't going to be supported with reprints. Oh no, it is supported with reprints. We're getting reprints all the time. We actually just got a huge wave. So yeah, Armada's, as far as it coming back in a big way, Armada has these things where there's a cycle to it. Once every year, when they release like under the rapid reinforcements or something like that, your typical play groups will see a little bit of a bump. Now here, I live in Orlando, Florida. We have pretty steady play. We have a lot of players that show up. Like we have monthly tournaments. There's like every once a week people will show up and play. So we have a lot of people playing Armada in Orlando. I'm not present at every local game store around the world, so I don't know, what it's like everywhere else. But there's probably going to be another rapid reinforcements here pretty soon, and when that happens, there will probably be more people playing than there were previously because there's something new. There's something new to try out. There's new combinations, and everybody's going to want to test out those new ships and or upgrades or whatever comes out in it. So that's coming fairly soon, almost certainly. I would imagine by July we'll have it. Last year it came out in March. The year before that it was either late March, early April. It was like right after Adepticon. So there could be another one any day now. It's hard to say. They haven't given us an exact hint, so I feel like it's probably farther out. And there could be some other things too. Like they did a points rebalance in Errata last year. Also, those definitely lead to more people coming out and more play. The big thing is it had to happen after Worlds. Now, Worlds just happened. We have a new World Champion. There's like a new season getting ready to start. So I would expect it a little bit sooner rather than later. So there'll be something new for Armada. Probably not physical product just yet, although I think that they're definitely considering doing physical product. I hope so. I do think it'll end up being ships on a sprue. And that means we'll have to assemble and paint them. But the cool thing is I will definitely walk you guys through that. Because I know there'll be some resistance to it. I'm prepared to do videos actually of like how to assemble the ships and how to paint them, because painting an Armada ship is different than painting like a Star Wars Legion or Star Wars Shatterpoint or a miniature or like a Space Marine or something like that. Flat surfaces handle very differently. There's a lot of different techniques. Fortunately for Armada, a lot of times you can just get a rattle can of like gray primer, put that on there. Your Star Destroyer is pretty much done, right? So, and then it's up to you how much more detail you want to add. So, yeah. Okay. Any news on Epic? Nope, not yet. There's one thing there that yet another squad builder. They put out their own epic points, so you can still play epic if you want to. There's points for it now, but it's not official. It's not, but they're I think the closest thing to official that we're gonna have for a while. Um, Eric says, "Hey Crabbok, have you seen that new skirmish game, Trench Crusade? It's being made by one of the Mordheim devs. You can't remember its name, or you can't remember his name. No, I haven't. I've never even heard of that. I don't know what that is. I have not. Sorry. Um, but yeah. Oh, AM Entertainment. Everyone's opinion. What do you think of Nemesis Retaliation? I did a video talking about this. I think it looks cool. I think it looks really cool. I didn't pledge for it though, and it doesn't mean because I don't think it's cool. You see Nemesis behind me, right? I've got Nemesis Lockdown, Nemesis Stretch Goals. I had the actual big box Nemesis. I got to shift my games around a little bit once in a while. But yeah, I love Nemesis. Big fan of Nemesis. But I'm a big fan of the core Nemesis. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've had Nemesis Lockdown on the shelf here for what, a year or two? Never played it. Never played it. I don't know if I ever will. Because every time it's time to play Nemesis, which happens from time to time, but not too often, but when it happens, I keep saying, man, let me go back to that core game of Nemesis. I don't even want to add anything to it, except maybe the new survivors or the new heroes, the new characters. I like the medic. I like the dude with the dog, and I like that. But like the core game, I don't even want to add the new aliens to it. Nemesis to me is almost a perfect game that I don't want to change it up. I played Nemesis Lockdown once on Tabletop Simulator with Martin from Awakened Realms, and I had a great time playing it with him. He knew most of the rules, so he kind of walked us through. Okay, now the lights go on, now the lights go off, and this happens, and and we did the Kickstarter preview. That was awesome. But now that they're all in my collection, I think the original Nemesis is the game of choice for me. So I thought with Retaliation, even though it's going to change things up a little bit, it'd probably be a similar but slightly different game experience. I don't know if it'd be enough to say, hey. I didn't think it was a Nemesis replacement for me, and since I love the original Nemesis so much, and can only play it usually like once or twice a year, I feel like I'm going to go back. Now, if I had a smaller plethora of games, and if I had less games in my collection, and I was going to play Nemesis more often, then I think there's a great opportunity. Or if I didn't have Nemesis at all, I think Retaliation would be a really good entry point into the game franchise. So that's it. Have you played Away Missions from Gale Force 9? Yeah. I sure have. I got like all the expansions right here. I sure have. It's an interesting game. I've done some reviews on it. It's fun. It's got some balance issues with the core set. I don't think the Borg can possibly win. So I feel like it's not a perfect game, but it's Star Trek. It's on theme. It's got slightly cartoony miniatures, but it's okay. I just imagine I'm playing in like Lower Decks or something like that. I bet you they're going to do a Lower Decks expansion for that. But no, it's a fun game. It's an enjoyable game. I need to get it to table again too, because I haven't. There's a lot of the new expansion content I haven't used yet, and I think it's tough because I do a game night once a week. And a lot of the time, and so I usually we'll figure out what game we're going to play. And if we play something like Age of Sigmar, that takes up the whole night. And if we do something like Star Trek Away Missions, we can get 2 games done in a night. It doesn't take up the whole night. And so that's good. And so like stuff like that will happen, and sometimes I'll play games outside of my standing game night, but sometimes things happen and I have to skip the game night. And so I think about like how many games am I going to get in a month, and I have to balance all of these. Sometimes, a lot of times we're playing Rebellion, which will take up usually a whole night. I play Rebellion all the time. But then if we play like Legion, that'll take up a whole night. If we play Armada, that won't take up a whole night. We usually have a time for something short after that, and so we can do a Star Wars deck builder or Star Wars Unlimited. That's kind of come in and that's taken a place. But it's tough to get certain games to table when you have like one night a week that you're playing, and you want to make sure you're revisiting those games that you love over and over again. So Jared's waiting patiently for the new DC deck building Kickstarter. I know. I don't know what Cube is. I think it's a certain format. Yeah, I know there's a group. I know Corey here in Orlando runs a DC deck building group. I'm not sure if that fits into your preferred rule set or not. But that DC deck builder seems like it's very, very popular. I see people playing it all the time. Enzo, X-Wing is not dead. No more ships. No, it's getting well. I don't think no more ships translates to dead. There's new expansions coming out all the time. They're just cardboard. They're like new standard loadouts, so new ways to run existing ships and new scenarios. There's new organized play kits that happen all the time, although we didn't get an announcement for that this year, so I'm curious what that means. But yeah. But, okay. Esha Sharma, what's going on? How are you? Hopefully you're having a wonderful day. Clinton says shorter games are sometimes awesome. You just got Hollywood 1947 for a group game where you have to hunt the communists. Okay. Yeah, I was at a friend's last night. We played a couple of games. So as far as shorter games, dude, I'm gonna show you guys one. I don't know if I've. Oh shoot, it's not out here. Yeah, it's still in. It's still in my car. It's a game called Scout. It's a card game. It's just a little, purple and orange box. Just a little card game. It's got numbers 1 through 10, and every card has another number on the bottom. That's another number that's 1 through 10. And you get all these cards, and you have your hand, and you can't rearrange them. You can't sort them. So you can only play cards that are touching each other, and you have to try to get a run or a pair or a 3 of a kind, 4 of a kind, etc. And you're trying to beat. It's like a trick-taking game. And if you can't beat the next card, you have to scout. You can take one card that they played and put that in your hand anywhere, and then try to make a new, run or a grouping. And it's just a super fun points game, trick taking points. You play 4 rounds of it. Plays fairly quick, but the real trick to it is when you're dealt to your hand of cards, you can't mess with them. You can turn your whole hand upside down once at the very beginning of the game, and that's about it. So I love that. We played some Deception Murder in Hong Kong last night. I love that. I had mentioned one time Murder on the Clock, Blood on the Clock Tower. Blood on the Clock Tower is like a werewolf style game, and a friend of mine named Toby was running it, and and we played that the other night, and I played it at the Escape Winter Convention too for the first time. I was like, this game is really fun. I love games like that, especially if you're playing with a bunch of friends and everybody's sitting around and you're having your conversations and trying to plot on people and all of that. Great time. But certain games are. Ion Radio, what's going on? You think you have the same washing machine? Yes, busted. Called out. The laundry's ready. That's also my timer for my live stream, so I probably need to start wrapping things up. But yeah, it's the songs that they sing to let us know that the laundry is done. If I had a bigger house, I could have an actual filming studio that wasn't in the laundry room also. A lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't know that I make this content in the laundry room. But that's where a lot of it happens. Yes. Have you played Black Alert yet? No. Black Alert. Oh, I know the game you're talking about. No, I haven't. I saw that. It looked interesting. AM Entertainment. We all film in laundry rooms. Yes. If you guys haven't already, check out Ion Radio's interviews. They had some awesome interviews. If you're Armada fans, they did some great streaming coverage at Adepticon. Really great job covering all the games out there and giving a voice to the masses of Armada. But they had managed to get 2 great interviews with Dallas Kemp and with Will Schick, and they just actually ripped those apart and published. Not ripped those apart. That sounds inelegant. Basically, they published they cut them out and published those interviews on their own, so you don't have to watch all the streams, or you can watch all the streams. But check out Ion Radio's channel for that. AM Entertainment says, have you played ISS Vanguard yet? This is probably gonna be my last question. I'm gonna have to wrap it up, sir. So here we go. Sorry if you asked a late question because you haven't received your copy, but you're willing to hear if it was worth it. ISS Vanguard is interesting. It was not the game for me. Really cool components, really pretty, awesome story. I played this at a friend's house. I actually gave my copy to a friend because they liked it more than I did. But they set it up and ran the game for us because again, it's like an RPG in a tabletop in a board game format, and you have to play this whole campaign. There's a whole planning session. Like actually playing the missions seems very simple to me. The meat of the game is in the in between stuff, the planning. Who are we going to send down for this away mission? How are we going to spend the resources that we found on that last mission? Should we, should we assign this guy? And is there a story that goes into it? And so you can have this whole RPG kind of theme with the game. But you have to meet like every week and keep playing it, and it's really hard to make that all work. Matthew's really looking forward to tomorrow. Definitely check out tomorrow's video. I don't know if it's going to do that well compared to my other April 1st content, but I had fun with it. I think you'll be able to tell I was having a good time with it. All right, guys, that is going to wrap up this live stream. I want to thank you all so much for watching. I will talk to you later. May the force be with you. Let me know, how did the vertical streaming work out for you guys? Is this, was it more or less watchable? Or was no difference? I don't know. Let me know. We'll talk to you later. May the force be with you. Live long and prosper. Be excellent to each other. Party on, dudes. And big thanks to my patrons. You guys are amazing. I will talk to you later. See ya. Watchable, but meh. Okay.